Yo, what's going on everybody? Swagkage here, and welcome to today's video where we're going to be talking about 6-Path Sage Mode and, by extension, 6-Path Senjutsu. Now, I've already made a Sage Mode video, though if you haven't seen it already, you don't need to, because the differences between regular Sage Mode and 6-Path Sage Mode are both significant and very numerous. I can already hear quite a few of you asking, well, Swagkage, what is 6-Path Sage Mode? And my immediate response would be to say that it is the most busted ability in the entire series. But if you're actually expecting an in-depth explanation, well, actually, yeah, just imagine the most busted ability in the whole series. In all seriousness, there are two ways to gain access to 6-Path Senjutsu. One is through 6-Path Sage Mode, which can be given to somebody directly from Hagoromo Otsutsuki, the Sage of 6 Paths, but this only happens in very rare instances when Hagoromo deems somebody worthy of it. The other known way for a regular person to gain access to 6-Path Senjutsu is to become the Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails, which, after setting aside the actual process of encountering the Ten Tails, can be done by performing a jutsu called the 6 Paths Ten Tails Coffin Seal. However, sealing the jubi inside of oneself requires that a person has the Rinnegan, so, I mean, there's really no easy way to gain access to this ability. That's a good thing, because it's really strong. Like, really, really strong. Now, there are practically no differences in these two types of 6-Path Senjutsu use. While 6-Path Sage Mode and the 6 Paths Ten Tails Coffin Seal have radically different requirements, they produce pretty much duplicate results. There are practically no differences between the abilities this form gives Naruto access to and the abilities this form gives Madara access to. Naruto's power-up is a bit different from Madara's, admittedly, because of his ability to draw from the chakra of all 9-tailed beasts at once, but that doesn't have any real direct relationship with his use of 6-Path Senjutsu. I know Madara gets a Rinne Sharingan and can summon the God Tree and a whole bunch of other stuff as a result of becoming the Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails, and that Naruto can use the powers of all 9 individual Biju and still enter his 9-tailed chakra mode, but those are all indirect results of the methods they used to gain access to 6-Path Senjutsu, not effects brought about by 6-Path Senjutsu itself. From what I understand, even the changes in appearance brought about by becoming the Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails have nothing to do with a person's ability to use 6-Path Senjutsu. On that note, I'd also like to clear up a pretty widespread misconception that this is Naruto's 6-Path Sage Mode, even though it's not. The only actual direct, visible sign of 6-Path Sage Mode use is this right here. Naruto's eyes look the same as they do when he is in the Sage Mode Enhanced 9-Tails Chakra Mode, the difference is of course being that he is no longer coated in a cloak of Kyuubi chakra and that there is no pigmentation around his eyes. All of the other extraneous changes in a person's appearance are due to outside causes not directly related to 6-Path Sage Mode. Naruto's yellow chakra cloak is due to his ability to enter 9-Tails Chakra Mode. Madara and Obito's respective resemblance to the Sage of 6 Paths is due to their use of the 6 Paths Ten Tails Coffin Seal, so on and so forth. So now that I've established that the abilities granted by 6-Path Sage Mode are universally the same, regardless of who the form is being used by, let's get into what these abilities actually are in the first place. So obviously, first of all, a user of 6-Path Senjutsu or 6-Path Sage Mode will gain access to all of the benefits that a user of regular Sage Mode or regular Senjutsu will. And for those of you unaware, these perks include increased strength, increased speed, increased sensory capabilities, and the ability to use natural energy and Senjutsu techniques. Users of this form are also able to combine Senjutsu or natural energy with their basic ninjutsu or taijutsu techniques in order to increase their effectiveness. Though of course 6-Path Senjutsu takes all of this to a much higher level than basic Senjutsu does. While Naruto did have some pretty good physical showings in regular Sage Mode, the power boost Naruto experienced after entering 6-Path Sage Mode was unbelievable. For example, he was able to dodge the Sage Art Storm Release Light Fang, which is a technique said to move at the speed of light. His sensory capabilities were bolstered so heavily that he was able to sense the respective positions of each of Madara's Limbo clones, which are said to exist in another plane of reality altogether. And of course, all other users of 6-Path Senjutsu have their abilities amplified to a similar degree. A weakened Madara, for example, was able to go toe-to-toe with Guy after he'd opened up the 8th gate, without really trying all that hard, I might add. I'm pretty sure you guys get the idea. The first benefit provided by 6-Path Senjutsu is an amped version of regular Sage Mode. The second perk is the ability to fly. It's not really explained why, but yeah, users of 6-Path Senjutsu can fly with the use of Bukujutsu. Users of 6-Path Senjutsu also have a ridiculous healing factor, as shown when Madara flat out regenerated destroyed parts of his body, and they gain complete immunity to basic ninjutsu attacks that aren't enhanced by Senjutsu or natural energy in some way. I mean, it's borderline impossible for a normal person to kill somebody who has this ability. Furthermore, 6-Path Senjutsu users also gain complete knowledge and control over all 5 basic elemental nature transformations, Yin Release, Yang Release, and Yin Yang Release, and this ultimately manifests in their ability to use the Truth-Seeking Balls or the Gurodama. I already briefly explained what these are in my Yin Yang Release video. The Truth-Seeking Orbs can be considered the pinnacle of ninjutsu, ninjutsu, or the height of its physical applications, as they can nullify all ninjutsu and be applied in ways more numerous than any of the 5 basic elemental natures can. Suffice to say, these are pretty busted too, but I didn't explain every aspect of them in that video. So, okay, I will probably do an individual video breaking down how the truth-seeking orbs work in detail, but let me provide the best basic summary I can for you here in this video. Like I mentioned in my yin-yang video, the truth-seeking orbs are the pinnacle of ninjutsu, and I do not say that lightly, as they are composed of all 5 basic natures, yin release and yang release. If they are further imbued with yin-yang release, their composition will allow them to nullify all ninjutsu with absolutely no exceptions, unless the ninjutsu these orbs come into contact with is enhanced with natural energy. Furthermore, truth-seeking orbs push the concept of shape transformation to its absolute limit. Their shape can be altered, they can be merged together, split apart, turned into weapons. I can't really think of anything that a person wouldn't be able to do with the truth-seeking orbs given to them by Six Path Senjutsu. Their effectiveness is exacerbated by the fact that a user of Six Path Senjutsu has complete and total awareness of all of their surroundings at any given time, thanks to the sensory boost provided by this ability. So suffice to say, there aren't a whole lot of ways to counter the truth-seeking orbs, hence me calling them busted like pretty much every other aspect of Six Path Senjutsu. Now, that's the extent of the capabilities provided by Six Path Sage Mode and Six Path Senjutsu, at least on a basic level, but like I mentioned in the Nine Tails Chakra Mode video, Naruto's QB Chakra Mode interacts pretty interestingly with Six Path Sage Mode, so let me get to explaining that like I promised I would. So first of all, Naruto's truth-seeking orbs don't seem to appear until he enters his Kurama Chakra Mode. I don't know why, they just don't. Neither does the Six Paths Enhanced Staff that he seems to carry while in this form, actually, since his truth-seeking orbs never showed up after his battles with Kaguya and Sasuke. It's possible that Naruto can summon these truth-seeking orbs at will and only chooses to do so once he enters the QB Chakra Mode. The only other reason would be, actually, I have no idea. See, the way Six Path Sage Mode interacts with the QB Chakra Mode is very confusing, because Naruto's appearance when using both at the same time has varied like, greatly. Let me take a page out of Kishimoto's book and play a flashback to an earlier point in the video. Naruto's eyes look the same as they do when he is in the Sage Mode Enhanced Nine Tails Chakra Mode. The difference is, of course, being that he is no longer coated in a cloak of QB Chakra and that there is no pigmentation around his eyes. Now, I am going to place emphasis on the fact that I mentioned that there is no pigmentation around Naruto's eyes when he enters Six Path Sage Mode as opposed to regular Sage Mode. What I mean by this is, you know that little orange stuff that shows up around his eyes when he goes into Sage Mode? It's not there when he enters Six Path Sage Mode. See? Look. Now keep this in mind because it is important. So, when Naruto first combines his Nine Tails Chakra Mode with Six Path Sage Mode, it looks pretty much identical to KCM2 with a few noticeable differences. For example, the black under the coat portion of his chakra cloak is a lot more accentuated now, and the yellow chakra surrounding him looks a lot more like a jacket than it used to. But of course, the most noticeable thing is the fact that Naruto's face isn't affected by the chakra cloak. His face looks normal, but the rest of his body is coated in golden chakra. So, since he seems to use his regular Nine Tails Chakra Mode in the last and Boruto Naruto the movie, a lot of people are under the impression that Naruto can no longer use his Six Path Sage Mode. But that's not true, and let me point out why. In a few instances in the Boruto manga and in the Boruto movie, Naruto has entered Nine Tails Chakra Mode and also entered Sage Mode. However, there is no pigmentation around his eyes that would otherwise signify regular Sage Mode, which leads me to believe he can still use Six Path Sage Mode, despite the fact that his face is still yellow. Like, it's really weird, I know. Oh yeah, he also retains the ability to fly, so I mean, there's that, too. Anyway, when Naruto first gains access to Six Path Sage Mode, its interactions with his Nine Tails Chakra Mode are the most direct. Like I mentioned earlier, the Chakra Cloak doesn't cover every part of his body, and this is most apparent due to the fact that his face is left almost completely untouched. There are a few more subtle changes in appearance that I haven't pointed out yet, like the fact that his Chakra Cloak manifests horns similar to those on Madara's headband and those coming out of Kaguya's forehead. I mean, in all honesty, it just seems like the point of this transformation was to make Naruto look like an ethereal version of Ashura. I mean, as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure this is something that everybody unanimously agrees about. There are a whole lot of Naruto Ashura parallels after Naruto takes this transformation. And I mean, with the use of shadow clones, he even uses his Kurama avatar to create a battle avatar similar to the one Ashura used against Indra. But yeah, I think that about covers everything there is to say about this. Six Path Sage Mode on its own isn't actually all that complicated, but a lot of the stuff tied to it, like the Six Paths Ten Tails Coffin Seal, Naruto being able to draw from all 9 bead Kaiju at once, QB Chakra mode itself, they're all quite a bit more complicated, and it makes explaining the concept of 6-path Sage mode, because of how heavily it's tied to these things, a lot more difficult than it otherwise would be. But hopefully you leave this video informed, at least a little more informed than you were before you watched it. Thank you for watching the video all the way to the end, as always. It means a whole bunch to me, more than I can explain, and I hope to see you next time. Till then, talk to you later. Swagkage out. Bye.